there is a DEI war taking place. Some CEOs are treating it like nothing's happening. Doop de doop de doo. Other CEOs are treating it as if it's just another day in the neighborhood. Then you have the CEO that's adapting. They're paying attention to what's happening and they're saying, let's get ahead of this. There are 3 CEO archetypes in this DEI war. The first is the performative. This is the one who, it's just another day in the neighborhood. They're treating DEI as if it's still 2020 and nothing's wrong. You don't hear a whole lot about this particular CEO other than they're doubling down. They haven't really offered much of a strategy or solution as to what doubling down looks like or how the company positively benefits from this decision, but they're doubling down. Mainly to prove, all my opinion, mainly to prove that they weren't being performative when they initiated their DEI programs back in 2020. I believe otherwise, but that's neither here nor there. Then you have the deniers. These are the ones that are pretending that it's just no big deal. This archetype is normally talking about meritocracy. They're completely backing down, or they're saying DEI never mattered. What was the purpose? You hire based on qualifications, you hire based on merit, the whole 9. Also, not necessarily a strategy because you're missing out on the benefits of diversity with meritocracy. They aren't independent of each other. There's not one or the other. Then you have the third archetype, and that's the survivor. This is the person who sees the other 2, understands where they're coming from, but takes a completely different approach. This archetype understands that the world is changing. Whether we want it to or not, it is what it is. We're either going to adapt with these changes or we'll be left behind. This CEO is taking the initiative to say, what gaps do we currently have? And not just who's missing from a demographic perspective, but what gaps do we currently have in the business? Do we have someone that truly understands this market shift that we're seeing within our customer base? Do we have someone that understands the evolving needs of employees? They're taking this opportunity to gather information and respond responsibly, not just reactive, not for the likes, not for the gram, but to really look at the business holistically and say, what do we look like in the next 5 years, 10 years? And they have to take several environmental factors into consideration. One, obviously, customers, they're going to shift. Employees going to shift. But then we also have this thing that's a little bit obvious, and that's the administration. Previous administration was gung-ho for DEI. Current administration basically wants to pretend it never even existed. CEOs have to navigate that, and they have to do it wisely. That's what this survivor archetype is focusing on. How do we implement diversity in a way that strengthens the business, does not create risk or liability, but also positions us to survive whatever administration is in place and whoever's in the Oval? Because let's face it, if your diversity initiatives have to keep changing based on who the current president of the United States is, that's not sustainable. You would not have a marketing, or you wouldn't have any other key policy or principle that changed that much based on who is in the Oval Office. Marketing obviously evolves based on the customer needs, trends, products, service, etc. But that's an expectation of marketing. This is something that is completely avoidable. And so the survivor archetype is thinking about all of these variables and then putting a plan in place. Now, if you are one of the other archetypes and you'd like to be the survivor, let's talk. Because the truth is, diversity is a competitive advantage. It is not meant to be a stress. It's not meant to be a liability. And the reason it is because it was not placed in the C-suite. It was given to HR. I'll leave it there. Now is a perfect opportunity to bring it in to the C-suite and make it a business responsibility. Not some cute little trendy initiative that gets you on MSNBC or CNN or whatever. It's what are we going to do? How are we going to use diversity to our advantage? Let's talk. I would be happy to share more about becoming the survivor archetype, and more importantly, preparing for this shift that is inevitable. DM me.